Hello there, hope you're having a great day. Welcome to the channel. In this video, we'll be talking about conditionals in JavaScript. In our previous video, we spoke about operators and we saw different types of operators. But here we'll be talking about conditionals, and that is things that we use to get make decisions basically, such that they're saying if I want to do something, so you need to make a decision between this or that. Conditions come in place, or you want to do something in a particular for a particular kind of condition. You want to do something when the part of condition is met. Conditionals are what we talk about. Basically, we have two in JavaScript, and we have the if statement and we have the switch statement. We'll look at this if statement and then we're going to look at the switch statement. Now, the if statement basically can stand alone as if. It could stand with if and else, and could stand with if, else if, and the else statement also. It's all fine whichever way you go about it. So we'll look at how we can use them individually, like if, else if, and the else statement. So basically the syntax, the way you write your if statement is if and then condition and then you do something. So Ctrl Shift P to open a new focus session. So the way it works is we're saying if something here, a condition is there, we want to do something. This is basically so let's say let's go down. Let me create a variable. Let's call it condition and let's set it to be true. So we want to put condition here. So let's say we want to add and let's console log it. So let's console log 2 plus 2. So we want to console log 4. So 2 plus 2 is 4. But we want to do that if some conditions are met. So in this situation, the condition is met. So, but what if the condition is no more met? Condition is false. So if it is false, it does not go into the if loop. So it's basically for making a decision. So I'm trying to say if this condition is met, you do this, but if it's not met, we don't want to do it. So you see, that's what the if statement does. So the if statement, we have made a choice. This condition wasn't met, so we don't do this. So the if statement, what it does is it will check, is the condition here true? If the condition here is true, it goes and run. Now if I were to come and say condition, if condition, let me just double. So if the condition is false, you see it comes inside because this statement here is now true. Condition is actually what? False. This is a true statement. When I say condition, so we're asking, is condition false? And yes, condition is false, so it comes in here. But if I were just to put condition, so it's asking, is the statement here true? And yes, it's not true. No, it's not true. Condition is false, and so it won't come in here. So we should note that when we use the if statement, it is checking the overall condition, the overall statement you've written there. Okay, so let's say we have condition. Let's come down here. We have condition 1 to be true, and then condition 2 to be false. So if condition 1 and condition 2. So I'm trying to say, if this statement is true and this statement is true, I want to come here and do something. So let's say I want to console log 2 plus 3. find out that it doesn't get here at all, because we are saying this must be true. When we use and, if you remember in the last discussion, when we use and, it means that all the statement must be true for the overall statement to be true. So this must be true and this must be true for the whole of this to be seen as true. So condition 1 is true, condition 2 is false. So this and this will be what? False, because that's how the and. For and to be true, this and this must be true. So but if it were to be the or operator, we come here and say or. So if this condition is true or this condition is true, unfortunately for none of us, condition 1 is actually true. So it comes here. So we can see our console log 5, console log 2 plus 3 is what? 5 runs. So that is the if statement basically. So the if statement checks for the condition, that the overall condition that is within it. That's how the if statement works. Now let's say I wanted to let's do something. Let's make another condition. Let's call condition 3 and let's set it to be true. Or let's give it a more meaningful name. Let's say go to market. Let's say go to market. That is a variable name. It's true. So if I'm to go to market, if let's say my mommy said, or let's say mommy says go to market. So if mommy says go to market, you are supposed to go to market. But if mommy doesn't say go to market, you are supposed to go. You go to go for a football match. Okay, so let's write a program for that. So if mommy says we should go to the market, that is, if mommy actually says we should go, if it is true that mommy says we should go to market, what do we want to do? We want to what? Go to the market. We want to go to the market. But more, if she doesn't say so, we want to do something. We want to go and play football. So else, that is where the else statement comes. The else, sorry, okay, go to the football field. So I'm saying here, if mommy says you should go to the market, then you go to the market. But if mommy doesn't say go to the market, you go where? Go to the football field. So what did mommy say? Mommy said go to market is what? True. So, but if mommy doesn't say so, if mommy says go to the market is what? If it's false, you see, it goes to the football field and doesn't go to the market. So when I'm trying to make a decision between two things, I'm trying to say either this or this. We use the if else statement. So if I'm saying this or this, just two decisions can be made, either this or this. We use the if and the else statement together. Now, but let's say we have a situation where we have uh, more than two options. We have more than two options. So we have a game where you can pick. So the game is such that you have one ball, ball 2 and ball 3. So if you pick uh ball 1, so if you pick if you pick if you pick 1, it tells you that uh you're almost there. So to win the game you must reach 3. Almost there, almost there. Sorry, if you pick 1, this is when you pick 1. When you pick 2, it tells you close. But when you pick 3, it tells you jackpot. So this is so we want to write a program that does this. So you see, in this situation we have more than two things. It's not just uh, two conditions. It's not 1 and 2. We have 1, you can pick 1, you can pick 2, or you can pick 3. That's more than two situations. So in this kind of situation, what you use is if. So if let's let ball is equals to 1. So if the ball, if it's 1, we want to say what? Yeah, almost there. Else, if, now that is what we use here, because we have more than one scenario. We have more than two situations, sorry. It's not yes or no situation. It's not just a two-way thing. This is more than two-way thing. A two-way thing. So if the ball is 2, what do we want to do? We want to console log close. And when the ball is 3, we want to say what? Jackpot. So we say jackpot. So you see, our program, the only one that runs now is this, almost there. Why? Because ball is 1. What if ball becomes 2? What happens? It becomes close. And if ball is 3, it gives us what? Jackpot. But you see, what if the number is 50? What if the number is 70? We didn't take care of that. So if you want to take care of every other situation, so you say if the ball is 1, you say almost there. If the ball is 2, you say close. If the ball is 3, jackpot. But if it's any other thing, you give say wrong. So let's say if you pick any other number, you see what? You say wrong answer. So if you pick any other answer, so you're saying if it is 1, you say almost there. Else, if it is ball 2, you say close. Else, if it is ball 3, else. Else means if it's not ball 1, else. This is not ball 2. If it is not ball 3, then else. What do we want to do? We want to say wrong answer. So let's come here and let's say our ball was 30. It's wrong answer. 0, wrong answer. Minus 23, wrong answer. But when we put 3, it's jackpot. When we put 2, it's close. When we put 1, it's almost there. But any other thing is a wrong answer. Hope this makes it clear. So that is, so the if statement is basically the syntax is this. So if this particular condition is met, if a particular condition is met, it does something. That's just fine with if. The if else statement is, we have two decisions to make. So if this condition is true, it does this. But if the condition is false, it do something else. So the if else if statement is, if the condition is met, you do this. Else, if this other condition is what is met, you do this. And then the else will be if none of the other conditions is met. If it didn't do this, if it didn't do this, then it means you have to do this. So if your code is supposed to do something irrespective of, then you have to use the if. At least else must be there to cover for any other situation. But if it's possible that you don't do any other thing, you don't do anything, it's fine, then you don't need the else. You might not need the else, sorry. So an alternative to the if statement is the switch statement. And personally, I favor the if statement, but the switch statement is also available here, and I'll quickly show us that. So let's use this our jackpot situation here. So remember, we say when the game is when we pick a 1, it's almost there. When we pick a 2, it is close. When we pick a 3, it is jackpot. And when we pick another number, it gives us wrong answer. So we do that with this switch statement. So the way the switch statement is, the keyword is switch and ball. So we said, but the way we put it now is this case. We have the different situations when ball is 1. So remember, we say when ball is 1, we do what? We console log and we say almost there. Now this break is very important. We'll come back to that. Case 2, console log, we say console log, I think it was close. Yeah, I think it's close. And then we break. And then case 3, when it is 3, we said it is a jackpot. It is a jackpot. And then we must always put a default with the switch statement. So if it is none of these, so we say wrong answer, and then we break. Now you see automatically it comes here and say wrong answer. It's because we are giving a value for ball up here to be what, 11. So what, let me explain again. Let me go through this rather. So let's say ball is 13, 23. So it comes here. The switch statement is, it has different cases. So whatever is your ball, it says when ball is this case, the case here is 1. Okay, so if it is 1, what do you want to do? If it is 1, I want to console log almost there. When the case is 2, that means when our ball is just like we're saying switch on this case study. So just imagine that this is our case study ball. So when the case study is 1, you do this. When the case study is 2, we do this, close. And when the case study is 3, we do what? We do the jackpot. Now, funny enough, you could do this. Let's say for whatever reason it is, this also has 4. So if it is 1 or 4, you want it to do the same thing. That's what this will do. So if I come here and I put 4, I write 4, it still comes here. So what this does is, for case 1 or case 4, you do this. For case 2, that is when it is 2, when the ball is 2, you do this. When the ball is 3, we do this. So let's say if it is 3 or 30, it does this. So when it's 3 or 30, so when we have a case of 30, when our ball is 30, it should say jackpot. Remember previously it was just 3. So if we write 30, it still was jackpot, because either 3 or 30 gives us a jackpot. Default is like the else statement in the if. When we're writing if, the if else, that else part where we say if the condition is met, else, or in the if else if, where we said if it is this, if it is this, the else there means if it is none of the other above, you do the else. The same thing with default. Default, what default does is it says that if you could not find the case in any of them, this is our default. The default thing to do is this. So if you can't find it above, then the default thing to do is this. It must always end with a break or a return. The break, we have not spoken on the break, and we'll probably talk about break later. But what break does is it stops a code for continuously running over and over and over. So let's say I take this out. You see, it comes here, it goes to default, and it runs default, and that is not what you want. So to break it means that you stop there and you go out of it. So this is important to always don't forget to either use a break or return for whatever depending on the situation you are working on. And so that's basically the switch statement. I personally I prefer to use the if statement, but switch statement is also useful. You could use it as you see it. So the switch statement, there is a switch and then there is a particular condition and it checks that particular condition. So if it is 1, you say if this value, so you put the value 1 and then you do something there and you break, and until you get to your last case, which will be the default. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section and I'll do well to respond to you as soon as possible. Do not forget that one and most important way of getting better at something is by actually doing it. So let's get at it. Let's get involved in it. And if you have a question, drop it in the comment section and we'll try to respond to that. Thank you and let's meet in the next video. Please don't forget to subscribe, to like, and to share.